If you've tuned into any of our videos before, you know how high Jeff and I have been on the Colts all season. It feels like the vibes in Indy haven't been quite the same the last few weeks. Meanwhile, the Jags take the division lead. The Texans continue to look spicier by the week. Feels like a good time to check in on the AFC South. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Katie Caldwell. This is Jeff Lloyd. Jeff, we'll start there with the Colts. Injuries are certainly starting to catch up with them, and it shows. Daniel Jones playing with a fracture in his fibula. Sauce Gardner went down. Sounds like he's week to week. How worried are we about the Colts, especially as these other teams are still looking pretty good?
Well, we're to the point now where, you've got to reinvent yourself. And that's kind
Yeah.
of been the theme for the videos we've done today is, look, there's enough tape on you that pretty much everybody has the ABC and the XYZ. You have to
Hmm.
find a way to basically flip the narrative and show things that you haven't. And this is Daniel Jones in the injury. And he was moving around some, but that's always been one of the more positives that people maybe didn't always mention about Daniel Jones was the mobility.
He can
But
scoot.
now we're going to
Yep.
talk about Daniel Jones trying to just straight beat teams from the pocket, and
Hmm.
that's definitely one that's got everybody, kind of up in arms. To his credit, there weren't turnovers yesterday because that's kind of been some of the issue with some of the problems the Colts have had over the last couple of
Right.
weeks was Daniel Jones and the turnover bug. That wasn't the case yesterday. You saw, and I think this was a really smart move by the Houston Texans was Jonathan Taylor ain't beating us. Because that's
Mm.
also as good as Daniel Jones has been this year, has been Jonathan Taylor kind of in the money time that usually supplied the absolute knockout punch. So look, you have this whole division now and three teams, and whatever you did now doesn't matter.
Yep.
What do we can we do over the next 5 weeks? And Jones and when you just say broken leg and yeah, all right, yeah, well, he's good to go. Like it's just so crazy to say. Like,
Yes.
can I see an X-ray? Like I need to know how broken this leg is. But for Daniel Jones, this is the opportunity. This is it. And it's a 1 year deal. And God forbid you don't want somebody to come in there and look good and all of a sudden, oh well, the whole team was good. It wasn't necessarily Daniel Jones. You've fought and clawed to get yourself back to this opportunity as a quarterback. There's no way you're coming out of these games. It's and the Sauce Gardner thing, sure, it's an issue, but this team was playing lights out before Sauce Gardner got to town.
He
So, I
felt like
mean,
an
yes,
added bonus. Yeah.
yes. I mean, I'm not necessarily that shaken up, and it's no disrespect to Sauce Gardner, but this team was what, 7-1, something like that, before they even brought Sauce Gardner into the
Hmm.
fold. So it's definitely been a team that's kind of stuck together and it's been a cohesive unit. They just got to understand you lose some games in the NFL. You
Hmm.
can't carry it. And that's going to be the biggest and most trickiest thing for Indianapolis going further. I know it's not been a successful run for that team for years, but that all goes out the window. You've been a successful team up until this point.
Hmm.
Find a way to finish the race.
Let's move to Jacksonville. The Jags are a team I still don't know what they are week to week. Like we've talked about, Jeff, so many other NFL teams. What is your read on them as we head into week 14? They have the Colts coming up. This will be a big one.
Well, I honestly think that this is going to be where it's going to come down to. If you're
I
the Colts
agree.
or you're the Jaguars and you want to win this division, you can't split. You need to
Yeah.
sweep between these two games that these teams are about to play. Because if you split, there's a team down in Houston that's got all the experience in the world here. That's just kind of toot, 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 toot,
And
sneaking right
quite the defense, I will say.
100%. So that's where this is going to be interesting. Look, Jacksonville, nothing is blowing you away. The defense, however, has steadily improved.
Mm.
They're getting better. They're getting pass rush is picking up. Walker had the broken wrist, was playing with the club on his hand. He's still now back in the fold, becoming a factor. They made the cornerback trade. Greg Newsom's not even playing. It turned out to be a terrible mistake for them. They didn't like Tyson Campbell as a scheme fit. I get that, but you brought in Newsom, and it's gonna be a better fit for us. No, he certainly has not been a better fit for you by any means whatsoever. But you're overcoming that. Collectively on offense, it's I don't know if there's truly a recipe for Jacksonville. One week they run it kind of good, one week they pass it a little bit better.
Yes.
Lawrence is, trying to do his best to be consistent because that is the biggest problem there is with Trevor Lawrence is it's so night and day, and you see it for a month, you see it for 2 weeks, sometimes you even haven't seen it for a season. It's, everybody thinks there is a really good quarterback in there, and just when everybody's ready to start putting him in that upper echelon of conversations, you get a 250, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So,
Yeah.
it's just the consistency factor. To this point, it's been there, but, 2 games with the Colts, and, we're gonna kinda see here, what's real and what isn't. Is
Mhm.
Jacksonville real? Are the Colts real? Are neither of them real? We're gonna find out soon
Mm.
enough.
Quick pause. If you haven't subscribed to the BetCanada YouTube channel, you can do so below. It's free and it helps support our channel so we can keep bringing you NFL and NHL content. Now, back to the show. The Texans, I'll be honest, Jeff, I thought they were cooked, and it feels like they have kicked the door open, saying we are still here. They have quietly won 4 straight games. Are they still in play for the AFC South?
I don't see any reason why not, and
Me
this was
either.
some things that we maybe should have probably thought a little bit more about, and whether or not, Houston, when it was struggling early, could it get better? CJ Stroud missed some time. The
Hmm.
offensive line was almost a complete redo. The almost a complete redo from the offensive line they had last year. Obviously, that takes time for guys to play together, get comfortable with each other, understand each other's tendencies, and work with those tendencies. Who would ever thought a guy named Woody Marks, Joe Mixon,
Yep.
Nick Chubb, and all of a sudden, this team's number 1 back is a guy named Woody Marks.
Woody Marks. Yep.
Yes, but the defense, and look, the pair of pass rushers, excellent players, and this is also kind of on the Colts and kind of on Jacksonville. You let Houston remain in this race.
Mm.
And with that defense, and defense this time of year, it's usually hopefully what, if you were a team that's been there before, you understand it needs to start to become more offense isn't going to carry you the entire way. You need to have something working on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, defensive minded head coach, great guy. He's already been to obviously the playoffs twice, won the AFC
Yeah.
South. He's only in his 3rd season. So there's a certain level of expectation in Houston right now, which does seem crazy to say, but it's the
Mhm.
belief. And, because you've won back-to-back AFC South titles, you can be in your players' ears every day, every week saying, "Hey, we're not far off. Consistency. We can get there." And as the defense has kind of carried them, the offense is starting to show some more signs. And
Yep.
all of a sudden, here's Houston looking at Jacksonville, looking at Indianapolis, going, "Well, you know what? We've kind of run this, and we still intend on keeping to run this."
Who do you like to come out of this division?
Like I
I've
told you,
changed
this
my
is where
mind
it's
so many
tricky.
times.
This is where it's tricky because I honestly feel if Jacksonville and the Colts split, the 2 of them are gonna be like, and all of a sudden, there's gonna be Houston who's gonna be there come January 3rd or January 4th as
Yep.
the top team in this division. Now, the question is gonna come down to those games is what defense do you maybe have a little more faith in? And
Mm.
certainly, this is gonna come down to health. It really is. And it's not a case, Katie, where we can say, "Oh, well, it's Jacksonville. They've always been here," or it's the Colts.
Right.
There's not really much that you can kinda, like, plant a flag on here right now. So for me, what I am gonna look at in this scenario is what is the most dominant thing? And you know what? The most dominant thing, and basically the most regular thing this entire season in the AFC South has been one man and one man only, Jonathan Taylor. If I
Mm.
am the Colts, it is Jonathan Taylor time. It's always Jonathan Taylor time, but now it's, "John, don't even
JTT.
come to practice. We'll put a hot tub in the house. We will whatever you need, do not leave the house," because the problem is you were probably getting north of 35 touches per week because my offense is going through the best player I got and probably the best player overall right now in the AFC South. I would bank on Jonathan Taylor. That's the way I have to do it.